1 Peter chapter 4. And the first verse, I think it's very ironic a little bit that even mine and Pastor Donna's conversation this morning and some things that have been on our heart. The very first line of this is, but the end of all things is at hand. And we've talked for a while that we are and I know no one knows the time and the season. No one knows the hour that Christ is going to come back and call us all home, and that we'll be in that time frame. But we are now closer than we've ever been. You can feel it. The groanings and the travail of the world and how things are good both physically with just the upheaval of the world, but spiritually, if you're listening, you feel that we are closer than we've ever been before, and we're not far off. There's a stirring. There's an uncomfortable in a weird, good and bad way. But the end of all things is at hand. Be ye therefore. So it's not, but. It's not, the ends are there, but. It's we're at the end of things, and now this is what you need to do. It's giving us our instruction. Be ye therefore sober and watch unto prayer. I've mentioned this verse prior over the last few months that we're to watch unto prayer. But sober is to be in self-control, to even curb one's passions in the time frame. But not because you're not supposed to be passionate about things. I think it really has to do with you have to know your audience. There are sometimes we can't allow our own freedom to be a stumbling block to others, but at the same time, we have to still share the gospel. But we have to know our audience. We have to know our time frame. In law enforcement, everything, we call it situational awareness. We've talked about that here. It's called discernment. You pay attention. You have your own self-control in areas. But it says, and watch unto prayer. So we're living soberly unto an offering of prayer. Verse 8, and above all things. And this is the part that starts to stretch people. And above all things, have fervent charity among yourselves, for charity shall cover the multitude of sins. Now, when you look at the word fervent of where we're going to go and spend our time this morning, fervent means a bunch of different things, depending on its usage in Scripture. From zealous and abundant to earnest. And if you even take just that meaning, it means we're supposed to be abounding in love one to another. We're supposed to be zealous one for another. Earnest one for another. Specifically, though, in this particular definition, it means without ceasing. And that sometimes gets difficult. I mean, let's be real. We're being asked, I don't want to use the word commanded, it's being strongly suggested that above all things, all the being sober, above being in prayer, above all the other things going on in our life, above all things, have a fervent charity among yourselves. A love one for another that we don't want anything else in return. It's a fervent prayer. It's a fervent love for one another if we get zero in return. Not a thank you, not a pat on the back, not a return of that same love. It's being fervent in prayer, never ceasing. For charity shall cover a multitude of sins. This verse has been utilized and misutilized and thrown at people as both a defensive and a weapon. It says charity or a perfect love covers a multitude of sin, but it does not actually say all of them. And this is our interaction for one to another. And you're looking at me going, wait a second, hold on. This is a true statement because there are certain things in our lives that you have to now walk away from because of circumstances. Doesn't cover up everything. But covers a multitude of sins means a few different things. Not to regard, to pardon, not to impute, which means in our fervent love one for another, especially among the brethren or the sisters, those little bitty things that get in the way, those little bitty things that rub us the wrong way, love should cover those to where we barely even regard it.